I got all these books and don't know when I'm gonna read them. All these books, don't know when I'm gonna read them. How many books you done read? We love to see it. I got myself straight. I got my stuff straight. We got some books here. I got it all straight. It's fine. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chrissy. Welcome back to the Purple Library. So glad you guys could be here. Let's talk about the books that I read in October. I had a really good reading month in October. I usually read on par between 7 to 10 books. That's usually about my range. This month your girl got buddy reads and she don't really know. We don't really know how we're going to do it. I mean, just we got book on top of book on top of book on top of book. Girls! The month of October was a great reading month. I read a lot of different genres as well. And there might be a couple in here that will now be on my favorites. Do you feel me? Huh? How many books did I read? Huh? 1, 2, 3. Y'all know math and be mathing? I read 9, y'all, but 1 I don't have. I got a plan. If you know, you know. Sorry. It was a good month. I didn't DNF any book in the month of October. I read varying genres. So it was just a great reading month. The Bands of Mourning by Brando Sanderson. The Mistborn Saga book 6. Your girl is getting through the cosmere. She is working her way through the cosmere. Working her way through the cosmere. Working her way through the cosmere. I don't know what this is book 6 in the Bands of Mourning. And again, it is the Mistborn Era 2 series. This series is 180 from the OG Mistborn series, which I highly recommend. It's one of my favorite fantasy series of all time. Bands of Mourning overall, book 1 is about Wax and Wayne, and it has this mid-western shoot 'em up, bang bang, hit 'em on the draw, you know, Clint Eastwood western vibe, you know what I mean? So you're following these two characters, Wax and Wayne. There are some mysterious things going on, and their goal is to try to solve varying cases, strange incidents that are happening in the world now. Overall, this was a great time. I gave it 4 stars. I can see what Brandon Sanderson is doing. I have an idea of like overarching theme of the story was really intriguing, and my expectations were subverted. Love when my expectations are subverted in a book. Tell me what your plan is and then change the plan. Your girl just loves that. The last 30% of this book was definitely Sanderland's territory, and this was a lot of fun. Of course, kind of a mixed in the community. You do intend on reading and you've read the Mistborn Era 1. Definitely want to have some space in between starting Mistborn Era 1 and this series because the characters are different, the tone is different, prose is a little different. It's still easy to understand. There's still fantastical things that happen. It's still a fantasy story, but it's different. And I kind of like it. And I'm very intrigued to see what's going to come next. Lost Metal will be out. What's today? At the time of this recording, it's November 14th. Hey, happy birthday. I think it's Oshina and Miriam and Kelly. Hey, y'all, happy birthday. But happy birthday to all my birthday girls out there. I'm really excited to get the Lost Metal in my hands. And that is the 4th book. Is that the 4th book? Yeah, that's the 4th book in Mistborn Era 2. And then the only book I have to finish before I start the Stormlight Archive is Elantris. 2023 is the year of Brandon Sanderson. He coined that himself. And so I got to get myself together. So this is going to be the next book I read. The Murder in the Mystery Suite. Who's on that cozy mystery vibe? Are you on that cozy mystery vibe?
I'm on that cozy mystery vibe.
Murder in the Mystery Suite by Ellery Adams. I'm misremembering. But I will definitely link her channel below. A lot of my mystery recommendations from this young lady. What I really loved about this, it's set in Virginia, but it's as if you had the British countryside mixed with Virginia countryside. It was just perfect. Felt like I was in the English countryside, but then there were moments when I was in Virginia. Virginia is my home state. Virginia is definitely for book lovers if you ain't know. This is the first in the series. It is a bookish mystery. If you're getting into cozy mysteries, I highly recommend this. There's so many literary references, cottagecore vibes, and frolicking mystery and suspense, and the overall story. I just eat it up. 4 stars. Highly recommend this. Great time. Also in the month of October, wanted to back into a little bit of a middle grade and nurture the child within me. It's important to nurture the child within you. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Everworld, and I mentioned this in my Meet the Booktuber tag I did a couple weeks ago, and it was the first fantasy series that I read. It got me into fantasy. It's so good. It definitely is dated. I gave it 4 stars, by the way. I would not have recommended for young readers now because there are a lot of things that could be triggering. So definitely want to check out the trigger warnings in this book. It's essentially about a kid. He meets this girl named Sienna. He has a couple of friends that have a connection to this young woman. A very interesting, fantastical incident happens, and they're all transported to another world, hence Everworld, and they have to find and save Sienna. And it is a 12-book series. Who's surprised? Series. So yeah, I would do like a bubble tea, but how my GERD is set up, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I don't know about y'all, but I got like midweek GERD.
So
your girl don't want to be up in the middle of the night burning in the chest because I didn't have something I didn't need to have, you know. So hydration is the order of the day. So, you know, drinking water, you don't even realize how thirsty you are till you drink water, and you know. I want to apologize in advance because your girl's just up here. She has
no plans, but
again, incoherent wrap up. So this was an absolute fantastic time. I highly recommend it, but it is kind of old. It was such a trip down memory lane. So this is set in the 90s, so definitely has like that 90s colloquialism. There's a lot of jokes that if you didn't grow up in the 90s, you wouldn't get. I really had fun with Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I gave this book 4 stars. This was a nostalgia read for me. I read this book quite a few times when I was younger. I definitely felt seen. I felt that the Lord really did hear me. As little kids, you know, you pray to God for what seems to be very important things at the time. But as an adult, quite absurd things to pray. And I was reading it like, yeah, I prayed to the Lord about that too. But why? What was very interesting that I took away now as an adult from reading this is a very interesting commentary about faith and how children process faith and different types of faith. And specifically Margaret, her mother was Christian, her father was Jewish, and which faith should she believe? I think my favorite scene, let me tell y'all. I'm gonna tell you. Woo! Friends. So Margaret, right, she got her little friends, and they got this little group, and so the whole goal is they want to wear training bras. Every time they meet, kind of put their hands around each other and be like, okay, feel each other's bra straps to make sure everybody got their training bras on, right? So they're discussing their first time. Sorry, it's funny to me. Woo! I'm gonna get to it. I promise. I'm gonna get to the story. The lead girl, she's asking everybody, well, what's your bra size? So she's like, well, what bra did you get? I got the Grow bra. The lead girl's like,
I don't have a Grow bra. They were like,
you ain't got the Grow bra? What?
yeah!
And she was like, I got fitted for the 32 AA. She was flexing on them girls on a AA bra. Let me go. So much fun. I laughed wholeheartedly, and I think you would too. Book 7, Spy Family series. This is my first manga that I talked about the other 6 books in my live wrap up. Essentially, you got Telepath, who's Anna, Lloyd, who's a spy, and Yori, who is an assassin. I think I gave this 4 stars. I know my ratings for these books, y'all. I know. I gave this book 4 stars. It had more of my little baby Anya. I just love her so much. Her sass, her delight, her innocence, her joy, and the fact that she's genuinely just the sweetest little telepathic girl you gonna ever meet on page. And I definitely enjoyed all the shenanigans. I recommend this manga series. It is adult, there is violence, there are some weird things that happen in a few of the other ones, but yeah, I'll link in the card my live stream where I talked about this series in detail. This was a lot of fun too. Mark of the Raven by Morgan L. Boosie. I buddy read this with Christy from Gracefield Reads. Hey girl, hey. It was a great time. I really enjoyed this story. Essentially, there's certain families in this particular world and they all have giftings, pretty much a political, fantastical YA Christian fantasy story, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Christy has already completed this series. She did a complete vlog on the series, so I definitely will link that in the description below so you can check out her complete vlog of the series. I plan on continuing this series as well. I hope I described these books. Y'all, if I didn't put any descriptions in here, I'm so sorry. Incoherent reviews. Yeah. So her family has this secret power of dream walking. She can enter a person's dreams, manipulate their fears and desires, but she's conflicted because there are a lot of political things. Celine wants to figure out what the purpose is of this gift, and she's having questions about why her family uses the gift. I had a great time. One of my favorite scenes from this book was a character having intercessory prayer, and it was just really powerful, and I really appreciate that, and I like what Morgan brought to the forefront. The allegory doesn't come across across as strong as I've had read in other books, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be like point to point to point to point all the time. I could see the outline of the story, and I'm very curious, and I wait with bated expectation to finish this series. Highly recommend this one. It was a lot of fun, like for sure. In the past month or so, I've realized that I have a bit of a YA trash heart. Sky, we are united in this. YA trash hearts unite. So if you got a YA trash heart, yeah, lean into it. The Inheritance Games. This was a buddy read I had with my sister. It was a wonderful reading experience. I gave it 3 stars. I wanted to give it 3.5, 4 stars, but I think it was just a little, young adult leaning to me. I do plan on continuing the series, but I'm really curious to see the overarching mystery that occurs here. But essentially she's the heir to a bunch of money now, and everybody trying to get it. That's pretty much it. Everybody want her money. So also recently discovered that I love a will testament, somebody got to get the money, where the money coming from kind of trope, and I need that in my life. This was so good. Family drama and tea. I really enjoyed that as well. So yeah, Inheritance Games, 3 stars. I've heard some divisive things about it, about book 4, but again, it's YA, it's contemporary, so it's gonna have all that angst in it. But YA trash hearts unite. The next 2 books are tied for my favorite books of the month of October. I had so much fun reading these books. One of them took me by surprise. The other one didn't. If you know, you know. Wishtress. The Wishtress Effect is so real. And if you don't know, I'm gonna need you to get to know it. Yeah. Get to know it. Wishtress Effect by Nadine Brandis. I did a dedicated book review for this book. You need to experience the Wishtress Effect for yourself. It is one of the best fantasy stories I have ever read, and it is so rare, so unique, so transformative. I don't want to blurb too much about it because I talk about it in depth in my video. All you need to know: she didn't ask to be the Wishtress. Mirth was born with the ability to turn her tears into wishes, but when a granted wish goes wrong, she is cursed. The next tear she sheds will kill her. That's all you need to know. Annotated to the nth degree, baby. And also to what made this reading experience so great. I buddy read this with Tiffany Reads. Tiffany Reads has a fantastic Instagram page. I will link her page down below. She reads a lot of amazing Christian nonfiction books along with fantasy. We read this together and it was such a wonderful experience. I think Tiffany and I read this book within 2 days. Like she and I, in 2 days. And we talked about it immensely in such detail. So Tiffany, thank you so much, girl. I appreciate you. I love you. I see you. 5 stars. I highly, highly recommend this to everyone. Nadine is definitely going to be an auto buy. I love her writing. It's a Christian fantasy story as well. It's so much more than that. It's just so genre bent. It's breaking my brain. I gotta move on. Wishtress Effect is so real. The book that actually caught me by surprise. I didn't know October was the L.M. Montgomery month, and reading all of her books, I was influenced. I didn't know, but now I'm know. I actually got this edition from Barnes & Noble. It is an illustrated edition. I think these are original pictures if I'm not mistaken. And what's so powerful about this book is that there was nothing extravagant about this story. It is about Anne, who is an orphan, and she gets adopted by a family kind of on accident in her life in the Green Gables. And the things that she goes through, the shenanigans she gets in, and gets in some serious shenanigans, y'all. Hashtag green. If you know, you know. It was just such a wonderful experience to read. And this book nurtured the child in me, and it reinforced hope and just the beauty of life, the beauty of a child's heart, and how that is so rare, and that we should always try to find that parts of ourselves, and those are the parts that we can come to the Lord and be childlike in heart. At the end, I literally cried my eyes out. I had to go step away, and I had to cry from joy, from the realization of very poignant things that I drew from the story that similar to my own life. It was just a powerful, beautiful, straightforward story about a girl and her hope and her vivacious vigor and energy for life and her sass. And got sass for days, y'all. And how she just melted the hearts and the walls of pain and wholeness around the people that she loved, that she grew to understand. I highly recommend this book. I'm so excited. I want to read the next one, which I think is Anne and Aviola. Avolia. Y'all know. Well, that's it for me. Those are the books that I read. It was such a great reading month. So many books that caught me by storms. Nostalgia, fantasy, surprises, whimsy, romance, drama. Let me know, how did your reading month go? And if you got any book recommendations, leave them in the comments below. I love to know. Let me know all your thoughts down below. I love to talk all the books because... And don't forget to rule the galaxy, book nerd. The world depends on it. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see y'all book nerds next time. Bye.